Akhenaten, also known as Amenhotep IV, was an Egyptian pharaoh who ruled during the 18th dynasty. He is known for his radical religious reforms, which saw the abandonment of traditional polytheism in favor of the worship of a single god, the Aten. This religious revolution has been described as an example of cultural narcissism, as Akhenaten sought to impose his own beliefs and values on the entire population of Egypt. One of the defining characteristics of cultural narcissism is the belief in the superiority of one's own culture or way of life. Akhenaten certainly exhibited this trait, as he not only rejected the polytheistic traditions of his ancestors but actively sought to suppress them. He dismantled the temples and shrines of the other gods and goddesses, and even had their names erased from inscriptions and statues. Instead, he promoted the worship of the Aten, a solar deity that he claimed was the only true god. This emphasis on one god and one religion can be seen as a form of fascism, a political ideology that emphasizes authoritarianism, nationalism, and the suppression of dissent. Akhenaten's religious reforms were certainly authoritarian in nature, as he sought to impose his beliefs on the entire population of Egypt. He also displayed a strong sense of nationalism, as his religious revolution was closely tied to his concept of the Egyptian state. However, it is worth noting that Akhenaten's reign predates the rise of fascism by thousands of years, and his motivations and methods were likely quite different from those of fascist leaders. One of the key similarities between Akhenaten's cultural narcissism and fascism is the way in which they seek to create a sense of unity and conformity among the population. For Akhenaten, this meant promoting the worship of the Aten as the only true religion, and punishing those who continued to worship other gods. Similarly, fascist leaders often seek to create a sense of national unity by suppressing dissenting opinions and promoting a single, dominant ideology. Another similarity between Akhenaten's cultural narcissism and fascism is the way in which they seek to control information and shape public opinion. Akhenaten had the names of the other gods erased from inscriptions and statues, and actively promoted his own religious beliefs through propaganda and art. Similarly, fascist leaders often control the media and use propaganda to promote their own beliefs and suppress dissenting opinions. In conclusion, Akhenaten's religious reforms can be seen as an example of cultural narcissism, as he sought to impose his own beliefs and values on the entire population of Egypt. While there are similarities between his approach and the fascist ideology that emerged much later in history, it is important to recognize the unique context and motivations of Akhenaten's reign. Ultimately, his attempts to create a monotheistic religion were unsuccessful, and the polytheistic traditions of ancient Egypt continued long after his death.